Football friends, are you on the hunt for the perfect wardrobe that balances style and comfort? Look no further than Damat Tween Australia. They're your one-stop shop for all things trendy and fashionable for all ages. From chic tops to comfy bottoms, Damat Tween Australia has it all covered and have suited up Atletico Madrid, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray and Western United, just to name a few. Explore their latest collection including the Nano Care and Traveller's shirts at their Melbourne showroom located at 519 Keilor Road, Niddry, and treat your tween to the latest fashion trends.
You got our mind tonight and play for over.
Depends. Well, your friends, the football will be there.
Oh, friends, football friends! Oh, what a superb goal! Stephen Moore, that is extraordinary from Ben Garuccio.
You're listening to Football Friends with Ben Garuccio and Stefan Mork. And well, the superstar special guests just keep on coming. It's time to hear from the Adelaide United starboy Nestory Irankunda as his big move to Bayern Munich fast approaches. Nestor tells us all about his journey so far in football, his expectations with the jump up to German football, and much more. And of course, as we ramp up for another Football Friends derby, we go through all the latest and upcoming A-League men's fixtures. All that and more coming up on Football Friends!
Hello guys and welcome back to episode 24 of Football Friends with Ben and Steph. And it's a good week, Steph, because you're kissing the Gunners jersey. I don't know why. They just drew 2-2 with Bayern Munich in the Champions League. They're going to be out next week. But we've had 2 wins on the podcast. I think it's maybe the second time. Maybe when you were in Japan it happened a bit. But since you've been back in Australia, it hasn't happened too often. So 2 happy lads on the podcast this week. It's not going to be the same next week because we're playing each other again.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to record in person the first one next week, which will be nice. We'll both play a weekend game though, I guess, so we can get a win there. You guys then will get the loss, obviously. But yeah, I actually had some guy. I don't even know who it is. I would love to be able to find it, but I can't be bothered on Twitter. I don't know why. He just kept like tweeting me after every loss, like, oh, 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses. And I'm just thinking, is he fucking taking the piss out of me? Like a Collingwood fan as well from Melbourne. And I'm thinking, like, fucking loser. But I can't find him now to send it back to say, 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, 1 goal, 3 assists. But anyway, that's I'll probably deserve what comes my way with some of the comments I make on there.
Yeah, stop pumping your own fucking tires up. Let everyone else pump your tires up. Don't pump your own up. Your head's getting too big.
Never too big. But it was a massive result for us on the weekend. We're still in the hunt for finals. We've kind of come back from the dead, and this game was massive. Perth just obviously found out they couldn't make finals with their result midweek. 35 degrees at 3 o'clock in Perth. It was like roasting out there. But same for both sides, and we started well. And then when we went 1-0 down, I was thinking, like, fuck me, like, one bullshit counter, like, Tags just gets in at the back post, like, first one gets blocked on the line, then comes straight back to him, and it's just like, he's just an unbelievable poacher. And then the second one was, you watch the video back, and it's shit defending by a lot of us in the clip. But when it's 35 degrees, honestly, your brain just doesn't work. When the sun's on you, like, you don't make the right decisions, or like you're a little bit, lazy with something. And then, you give someone like Tags a bit of space in the box, and he was so calm and composed. And I actually remember yelling, I think, what did I say? I said, like, I don't know. I wasn't yelling at anyone in particular, but I just remember telling him, if you don't fucking want to be out here, then fucking get subbed off. I was so angry. And then we turned it around. So if anything, it was actually a good show of character and resilience, because probably, 5-6 weeks ago, we wouldn't have won that game. So, a goal assist for me, which is always nice. Ibasuki got a double. Zach Clough scored a worldie, and our guest today, Nestor, came up with two very good assists. So it's all our players are kind of hitting form at the right time. So I'm excited to see how we go this week against Macarthur on Friday.
Yeah, you boys look really good at the moment, to be honest. Obviously, even the game, obviously us against you boys, and going into that game, we were quite confident, and you guys were you had the win the week before, but I think since then, you obviously beat us. Now you've beaten Perth, so you're on a bit of a roll. Hopefully that can continue against MacArthur and then come to a halt when you play us on Tuesday night. But yeah, it was the same for us, to be honest. Exact same scoreline, very similar story of the game as well. 2-0 down in the first half, kind of looked, to be honest, out of the game. I thought we were playing okay. We actually created some good chances, scored a goal as well in that first half. It got called offside. But the defending for the goals was just not good enough. And, it was our first game at Tarneet, which was an unbelievable experience, unbelievable atmosphere to be out there for the first time. And even at halftime, I was thinking, fucking hell, surely this isn't what we're giving our fans that have, waited all this time. We're finally out here. It should be a landmark game and we should get a good result. And it was just a bit disheartening.
What was the message? What was the message at halftime from the boss?
No, the boss was quite calm. He's always quite calm, but it was just to keep kind of going as we were. We had a clear game plan against MacArthur that, once you play into the midfielders and you can bounce underneath, there's quite a bit of space because they play with the two up top with Davila and Jermaine. And once you can get past that line and bounce back underneath for your sixes, they should have quite a bit of time to be able to change sides and get our wingers and our fullbacks into the play, which I think we did in the first half, but we did it a lot better in the second half and actually kept playing like that. And I think at the end of the day, you have to have balls when it comes to playing football at any
balls
level.
Or balls?
Balls against the Bulls. But you have to be willing to sometimes take risks, sometimes take the ball in areas that you're maybe not 100% comfortable to take it. And when you do start taking those risks, I find that that's when you get that little bit of rub of the green, that little bit of luck. And we definitely got that in the second half. And yeah, to be honest, it was an unbelievable turnaround from the boys because we were bottom of the ladder at that stage. We're 2-0 down. MacArthur, doing well this season, and it would have been easy, to be honest, to just roll over. But that reaction in the second half was just unbelievable. And, that's what makes you proud as a teammate, as a player, to be part of a team that turns around a game like that. And that's why you love being in team sports, because of turnarounds like that. And yeah, it was just so good, honestly. Once we got the first, it felt like we could score 10 in a row, and we scored 4 in 20 minutes, which was good. And that was enough in the end. And, Michael Roos came up big, scored a double, hit the crossbar, and then Donks hit the crossbar, and then he was there to follow it up and tuck it away. So it was a good result in the end, and a happy homecoming to Tarneet for us.
Yeah, I think it's it looked great. Like I was watching it on the plane. Good thing Qantas had the Wi-Fi for the long trip to Perth. It was a little bit laggy, but yeah, it was amazing to see. And I think, like we've said it multiple times, it's not exactly what was promised. It's not what's going to be the final product, but for right now, that is so much better than playing in Amy Park and getting 2, 3, 4, 5,000, even 6,000. Getting a ground like that. I think it'd be amazing if they could do the ends as well, have something kind of like temporary seating there as well, just to really enclose it a little bit more. But it's it's exciting. I'm looking forward to playing there next week on Tuesday for the night game. And you guys play home again this week, right, against Central Coast?
Yeah, Mariners Saturday. It's the first double header, so the girls are playing in the finals as well against the Jets. So it's going to be hopefully a better turnout next weekend as well. And then we've obviously got the game on Tuesday night. So I think that was always the aim for us, to kind of hit the ground running there, and hopefully we can grow with that community. I think, like you said, it's far from a finished product right now. Even driving in, there's dirt mounds everywhere, but just to see what they've been able to achieve so far and put that together and actually play our first game there feels like it's all coming to life now for the club. So I hope that it will just continue to grow and get better. And yeah, hopefully we can grow with that community.
Yeah, no, exactly. But on to the rest of the games, and there were some big results really, and the top 2 positions, the top 4, top 6, everything's kind of been thrown on its head by Brisbane in that first Friday night game, getting the result against the Wanderers. It keeps the Raw still in the hunt. It means Western Sydney are still clinging on to that last 6th position. They've got the derby this week as well, so it's going to be really, really interesting. And then Central Coast on Saturday, Docker, who at the start of the year I think a lot of people were writing off. He's he's been unbelievable. He's playing more right mid rather than right back. But that was an unbelievable finish, cutting in on your left foot, 93rd minute or whatever it was. Like that's the stuff that literally does win you titles. When it's a big game, you're playing against Wellington, who were happy for the draw. All they needed was the draw. And now Central Coast are in, I guess, the best position possible. They've got their last 3 games plus their AFC Cup games. So it's really, really interesting. And now Wellington, if they lose to Victory on Friday night, all of a sudden Victory are probably thinking we can get second spot. So really, really, really excited. And good quality football, to be honest. The tactical battle, I know it was a bit boring even in the first half, but I actually, and Costa spoke about it when we had him on, but the way Wellington set up away from home is a lot more defensive. They obviously understand the travel is tough, especially in that game. All they needed was a draw because they were ahead of the Mariners. But they were still so well organised, and when they won the ball, they counted in those front 3. I think it was Kraev, Barbarossa's ball. It was still like the way they were getting forward, you could kind of see how they were going to score almost. And they ended up scoring after they went 1-0 behind. But yeah, really, really interesting to see how the last 3 games plays out for them, because they've got a couple of tough games. So we'll see if they can get a massive turnout for their home game against Victory. And then the Melbourne Derby. Did you manage to watch much of that?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. Didn't see all of it, but yeah, Melbourne Victory. Obviously, Melbourne City. It was a must-win game for them, to be honest. To make that charge for the 6, I think it's going to be difficult for them now. And yeah, Victory, as you said, the result with Central Coast and Wellington went their way, and they win that game, which is a massive game to win a derby. It doesn't matter where you are on the ladder when it comes to a derby; they're always tough games. And Melbourne Victory managed to get the win. And to be honest, now they're actually winning more games than they were earlier in the season. I think people are speaking about them a lot less now, even though they were undefeated for so long at the start of the season. But they're actually starting to probably win more games and cut out those draws.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I guess when you've got undefeated in their first 11 or 12, but realistically they were drawing so many. They've probably got more points now, but they've lost more games. So perception, as Marco Rudin said, perception is a crazy thing. And Sydney FC and West Sydney have got a very, very exciting game this weekend, because both of those two are fighting for those last couple spots. And he's kind of lit the fire. And the derbies are the best. The Melbourne Derby was amazing. The atmosphere, the quality of football. As a player, I wish I knew her name, but the girl on the violin, whatever it was at the start.
Yeah.
Honestly, that gave me goosebumps. It actually was. Like, I was thinking, fuck, I hope we play Melbourne Victory in the finals if we make it, because I want her to be playing that when we walk out. And I'm just looking around thinking, fuck, we're on here. So it's and the Sydney Derby is going to be the exact same, especially after losing 3-1 to Newcastle. They need to bounce back, Sydney, because they're not safe. They're actually not safe in the finals yet either. So it's it's crazy, and a bit of controversy in that game. What did you take out of the red card? Did you think it was a red card to Mac?
I feel like, you raise your hand, and I don't want to talk about referees, because if I get into our game, Tomoki got sent off against you boys for choking Kiddo, and then Davila chokes Risdon, and, not even a booking. So, yeah.
But he got 2 games. Did you see that? Today he got 2 games for it, Davila.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I didn't see it. Yeah, well,
I'm pretty certain.
You know what? I think you have to do that just to keep it consistent. But the bigger problem is that the referee's not seeing it in the game. Now, if you're the fourth official, or if you're the VAR for another game where that happens, and you're the one that's involved in a decision about sending a player off, and then you're the actual referee in the game afterwards, and you can't see it, I don't understand it. I don't want to talk too much because I'll probably get myself in trouble. But yeah, it's frustrating. But I feel like as a player, at the end of the day, if you don't raise your hand, if you don't choke someone, then you're definitely not going to be even in contention to get a red card. I know tempers flare sometimes. I'm the first to admit that can happen. But I feel like when you do raise a hand like that, it might be soft. But if there's any connection and a player goes down, you run the risk of it being in the referee's hands. And to be honest, I definitely wouldn't want to be leaving anything in the referee's hands.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I don't know. It's just unlucky, but I don't know. The referees, they just need to understand and look at that situation. If you're looking at that video and you see Mac putting his hand up like this, he's not even looking at the player. Like, how can he possibly know where his head was? And I don't like hold anything against Kankar either, because at the end of the day, if someone hits you in the face like that, your probably initial reaction is to drop, especially when you're not expecting it. Whether he made a meal of it, that's irrelevant, because that's not his decision. I think Robbie Stanton, the coach, came out and said that as well. It's not his decision. It's the referee's decision and the VAR. So I don't know. It's he got one game for it. He's out of the derby, which is massive, I guess. So we're going into the final, 3 rounds. Me and you have got 4 games each, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see how these last rounds go, because there's massive games to come.
Yeah, no, we said it at the end of last episode that it's going to be interesting to see the way these games pan out and see how these final kind of positions for the finals, even down the bottom. I was watching the Newcastle Sydney game. I was hoping that Sydney would do a job for us. We went up to third bottom, to be honest, after our result. And then obviously Newcastle come out. That's probably another unexpected result. They go and win 3-1 against Sydney, who are a team that is fighting for those final couple of places in the top 6. So, yeah, you honestly, you can't expect anything at the moment. This is the beauty about the end of the year. It's the most interesting time of the season to see how those final standings will become. So there's going to be more action this week. I'm sure of it. There's a few big games. The Sydney Derby is always a standout. So looking forward to seeing what will come of the games this week.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably the tightest season I can remember, where so many teams are still in the hunt for finals, and the positions in the actual 6 are still up for grabs like this. And I heard today that our game's close to being sold out, our final home game. So hopefully the crowds do reflect that, because these games are when it matters the most. So we'll see how it goes. But I think our guest is just about to come in, so we'll take a little break here and then we'll welcome him in.
It's going to be Nestory Irankunda. What a goal! Oh, he's done it! Oh, the power, the dip, the flips. Oh, Nestory Irankunda.
The starboy is here. Our special guest, Nestory Irankunda, has finally arrived. Welcome to the Football Friends podcast.
Hey guys.
How are you, brother? We wanted to get you on. We've been wanting to actually get you on for a long time. Ever since, I suppose, the news came out about you going to Bayern. We wanted to maybe get you on last week, but then you ended up scoring a hat-trick against us. So couldn't get you on after that. It was too embarrassing. But we finally locked you in now. And you and Steph, for some reason, can't stop laughing. I don't know what inside jokes you've got, but we'll get straight into it. We don't want to hold you for too long. Tell us a little bit about your junior days, your junior career, how football started for you.
For me, I didn't start playing until I reckon I was 8 years old. That's when I first started playing down at a local club in Elizabeth, next to our training facility, actually, Northern Wolves. I started there with the under 8s and then started playing with the under 12s for, I think, 2 seasons. And then I moved to Powerful Gardens. And then I played here for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And then I got scouted after a grand final. I used to play as a centre back, actually. I was a centre back for Parafield. And then I got scouted by Raiders to go play as a centre back. But then somehow I ended up playing up front. And then I was just scoring goals every game and stuff. So I think that's how I kind of like just started playing up front as a winger or as a 9. Yeah, it all started at Raiders for me. 'Cause I was there since I think under 12s or 13s, 13s, under 13s. I was there under 13s until under 18s, but I was playing years above my actual age group. So it was under 13s one season and then under 15s and 14s in the same season. And then with my last two seasons, I was playing under 15s and under 18s. So I never got to play reserves at Raiders ever.
Crazy.
What fucking coach was playing you at centre back? That's what I want to know. Surely he doesn't have a job anymore.
Nah, no, I reckon it's not really. It wasn't really his decision to be playing me at centre back. It's kind of what I grew up wanting to play as. I wanted to play as a centre back because PK and Puyal at Barcelona back in 2013 and 2014. So I wanted to play as a centre back, and I guess I started playing juniors. I started playing juniors as a centre back. So yeah, that's
And
kind
then
of
And no one would have
did
got
you
past you.
no. Oh, it's class. Virgil van Dijk.
did you realize did you realize once you started getting a little bit older that you weren't growing anymore and you were going to stay 4'10" like me?
No, I'm
You're
growing.
too
I'm
short
growing.
to be a centre back.
Yeah,
No,
but
no, I'm
Nestor's
still
Nestor's
growing.
18. He's got 3 years of growth. You're 28. You're growing stunned, Ben.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
You're only
I'm done.
shrinking.
I'm shrinking from here on out.
Yeah, no. I didn't really
So
have a
then
choice. Well, I did, but
once
I like
you
playing centre back.
once you got involved with Raiders, and then you kind of came into the Adelaide United setup, how did that actually come about? And did you even like know about, I guess, the Adelaide United youth team? Was that something that you were aiming to get into, or who spoke to you about that?
Oh, with the Adelaide United youth team and everything, I didn't really know about it until I think I seen Musa on my Instagram a few years back. I seen Musa score a goal against Metro Stars. That was his first goal, and that's when I first started hearing about the youth team and stuff. Well, I did know about it beforehand with watching Pacific um, playing with the Latin back in the days, which was I think 2017, 2018. That's when I first found out about it. And then yeah, it wasn't really something that I like really aimed for. Um I reckon the first time Adelaide United contacted me, um I kind of didn't want to leave Raiders. I'll be honest, I didn't want to leave Raiders, but um obviously it's the next step and um it's an opportunity I couldn't miss out on, so I took it, yeah.
Yeah. And what about we were at the team hotel the other day, and Musa and that was saying about it, your first yo-yo test experience with the youth team.
No, I didn't really know about the yo-yo. I didn't know how it worked at all. So I reckon I think it was the first five jogs, and I think I pulled out of the I guess the test, and everybody just looked at me like I was stupid or something, and I was just like I thought I was supposed to come out of the test something 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 something. So yeah, I didn't know how anything worked when I first joined Adelaide United. And I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's to give, I guess, some of the listeners a bit of context. When we do the yo-yo test, there's two versions. You can do the full version or you can do the sub-max. So it only lasts for about 4 minutes, and they do it to see, I guess, how high your heart rate goes and then how much it drops to see your fitness. So we normally always do the sub-max, and to drop out after the first four would be just above a jog, and everybody knows how quick Nestor is. So I guess it goes to show when you come from the NPL also, and you're not aware of things, it was a massive change for you.
Yeah.
And they were also saying you were scared or a bit nervous, or you were saying it to go and say hi to everyone. So you just walked in the room, sat in the corner, and people probably thought you were arrogant, but you were just a shy little kid.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't really know much when I first joined. I was kind of just a clueless kid, nervous kid. Um, I didn't know before you'd walk in, you'd have to shake everybody's hand and then take a seat. So it's really different to, I guess, it's a huge jump. I can say it's a huge jump from playing under 15s, under 18s, and then straight to playing youth team football with the NPL side and then the reserves as well.
Hmm. I think, yeah, it is. It's completely different. I remember the first time me and you, Steph, walking into a senior change room, and yeah, I used to shit myself, to be honest. Walking in, there's these grown men in there. I remember I'd never showered before in a first team change room, and I remember the first day walking in, I was like, "Fuck, what am I going to do here? How am I going to get into the shower without anyone seeing me?" So it can be obviously a bit daunting, and obviously you came in very very young. Before we go on to, I suppose, the where you've come to now and your journey so far at Adelaide United in the first team, I want to go back because obviously you said you didn't start playing until you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
How did was there? What was your influence to start playing football? Were you kicking a ball in the backyard when you were younger than that? You just didn't play, or because for me that's baffling. Obviously, your technique, the way that you have the brain for the game, was that something that just came really natural to you, or was that something that you've worked on a lot? Of course, you would have trained a lot and gotten better over the years, but was football something that the first time you played, you just found that it came really natural to you?
Not really natural. I guess I could say what, five or six. I didn't really know how to kick a ball properly. Um, I used to just watch my brothers train because I have two older brothers, so it was kind of if they'd go to training, like my dad would take them to training, then I didn't want to be left at home with my sisters. So I was like, I'm definitely going with these boys, and then it would be like kind of watch their sessions and then like kick a ball around with my dad. Um, but I would struggle to kick a ball at first, but then I got a hang of it.
Yeah, you've definitely got the hang of
Definitely.
it.
Your dad must be an unbelievable coach.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wow. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think, and what I guess besides obviously training with the NPL club, because I think this is what probably a lot of listeners would want to hear. Besides training with the NPL clubs and Parafield and down there in Salisbury with the first club you were at, what were you doing outside of that club environment to, because, I'm sure you would have spent a lot of hours, whether it was with your brothers or with your mates. Was there, academies you joined, or was it literally just you going and playing street football with your mates at the park? And that's kind of how you've created the player that we see today?
Yeah, it's kind of yeah, I didn't really there was no academies I was in when I was younger. It was kind of just training on my own when I had the spare time or after school or like going to school as well. Lunchtime recess, it's kind of football's been my life since I was young, so I've just worked really hard, I guess. I just do extras in the front yard, trying to imitate players like watching Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, all of them players. Um, just try copy their skills in the front yard and just do it for hours until we got dark. So I reckon that's how well, I learned how to dribble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe I need to start doing
obviously,
that in the front yard.
yeah, I was doing that in the front yard, but obviously I wasn't doing the right things. But obviously, the main topic that we want to talk to you about is obviously, you're going to Bayern Munich at the end of this season. It's your last home game coming up, and last
Yeah.
few games here in Australia before you jet off.
Yeah.
You're the youngest player to reach, I think, 50 games in the league. You're the youngest player to score a hat trick. Unfortunately, it had to be against Western United, playing on me as well. But how did the Bayern stuff come up? How like what was the first point of contact? Was there interest from a few clubs? Talk us through, I guess, how it kind of came about.
No, it wasn't easy, obviously, at first because I was hearing rumors. Obviously, as a young kid, you're always on your phone, and social media is a big thing. So I was kind of on my Instagram and then TikTok, and then I was seeing rumors and everything. So at first I didn't believe it. And then I spoke to my agents, and yeah, they were kind of telling me, yeah, there's a few clubs interested, and I guess we spoke to Bayern a bit more, and yeah, we heard their plan for me when I go over and what they wanted. So it's kind of yeah. Well, we all decided. Well, me and the family and the agents as well. Yeah, we all sat down and then we had a conversation about it. And then I guess with my dad as well. My dad really he's a huge fan of Bayern, and he kind of pushed for it as well. But at the same time, I like the plan that they had in place for me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's I think every kid's dream, probably growing up in Adelaide, once you saw, probably even, Mohammed and Al Hassan break through, especially looking up to them, but then you being the next one, playing for Adelaide United was the first step, and then the next big thing was getting a move overseas. Um, was it hard to deal with the pressure? Because obviously, you're still young, you're still so young, and the expectation of a lot of people in this city, with you performing and being the star player for Adelaide United, have you found that tough to deal with?
Yeah, I found it really hard at times. Obviously I've struggled. We can see that I've struggled throughout the season, this year, and a little bit of the end of last year. I started struggling in between the season, and obviously I had high expectations for myself, and people here also have high expectations for me. And I reckon I've let that um get the better of me. So it's not easy, especially as a young player. It's not easy, but um I reckon I'm dealing with it a lot better than I was before now.
Yeah, I think your recent performances definitely look that way, and I think, to be honest, I've never been in your position, but I think as a young player to have that kind of pressure and everything kind of builds up with, like what you said, with social media, everyone seems to be kind of talking about you, and it's as good as it is. It's also people don't sometimes understand the kind of benchmark that they're setting for you, that you always have to be scoring worldies or always have to be getting assists and being the best player. And I think that comes with a lot of added pressure that people behind the scenes probably don't always see, and they just expect to see this young kid that goes out there every week and is the best player on the park. So I think you're definitely doing very well, and I think as long as you keep willing to learn and keep getting better and keep learning about why you're feeling certain emotions, you'll have no worries when you go over there to Germany. But we've got a lot of questions from guests writing in. We put it out a couple of days ago, and there's been a lot that's come in. I'll ask the first one. It's from at Javi Lopez Season. It says, which people have been the biggest influences on your career so far?
Um yeah, a few players at the club. Um Steph, Harvey, and also Goody and Kiddo. And one day when he was there. So they've all had a big influence on my football as well, and they've helped me a lot with the inside stuff and the outside stuff as well. So it's really great to have these older boys help me at such a young age as well. It's great. I'm really happy that they actually care for me, and they want the best for me as well. So and then also my dad, my parents, and then yeah, my siblings as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You
and
don't have to say you
all
don't have to say Steph. You don't have to say
all I,
Steph
all I
Nestor,
want,
because
I just want Bayern Munich tickets. That's what I said.
Oh man.
In the box. I want to be up in the box when he's playing for Bayern Munich. I'll come over there in the off season, and you sort me out, and we go to Oktoberfest together.
Oh my. Talks
No,
about
but
it every
it's
year, man.
I, I'm actually a Bayern fan, to be honest. My dad was born in Germany, so I'm actually 100%. If you're playing for Bayern Munich when I finish playing and I've got time, I'm 100% coming to see you play. Um, But one thing before we go to a couple more questions that I want to ask is when you came up from the youth team. I actually went and saw you play a game. I can't remember who else I was going to watch, and it was at the Colours ground, and you scored a couple of goals, and um, I was like, "Who's this young kid?" And then when we came into pre-season, you were training with us. But when you came up through the youth team into the first team and broke on to the scene and started, playing so well, did you find it like hard and challenging, or did it feel like it was just a natural progression and straight away when you came in you were up to the standard?
Yeah, it wasn't. I can't say it was really easy or like easy at all. It was pretty difficult. But yeah, for me, it was just more of there was a huge difference in the passing possessions, and then also the intensity in trainings. It was a huge jump from not a huge jump, but it's a really big jump from the youth team level at the time when I was playing with the youth team. So I I couldn't. Well, it was difficult sometimes at training, but yeah, can't really say it was really hard. But it's hard. Even now, it's still hard, but it's not easy.
Yeah,
All right,
but
that's all I can say.
no, I get what you're saying. But like when you came in, I remember when we were even doing pattern plays and basic stuff. Yeah, maybe, to be honest, passing drills, you probably maybe weren't quite up to it in possessions, but we'll go into pattern plays and the finishing or in the game stuff when probably you didn't have to think as much and it comes natural.
Yeah,
Like you looked like you could play at that level. So I was just curious to know, I guess. And you've got the makeup, the physical attributes where I'm sure if you go to Bayern Munich, you can match it with some of them. But again, it's going to be a ridiculous jump. But I'm excited to see, the next time we interview you to see what it was like coming up against Leroy Sane and Alphonso Davies and and these guys.
Don't think you're a
Steph
big
loves
dog when you go
juice.
over there. You still got to come back on the podcast.
Now I'll be here. I'll be here.
All right. We'll go on. We'll go on to the next question because too many people wrote in. But let's go here. This is not a bad one, and I think I know your answer. At Alan Riley, mainly for Nestor, but can apply to everyone. Who's your favourite fan base in the league to wind up?
Ooh, victory, and
Yeah.
victory and city, victory and city. Yeah,
Yeah. That was unreal. Scoring that goal when you scored a couple of weeks back and went straight and celebrated in front of them. I think some fans hate it, and some people think, why is he going to do that? But as a player, you cop so much abuse from the fans, and especially
yeah,
you in that last game in Melbourne. So I think it adds a bit of spice to the game, and as long as you're performing on the field, that stuff makes it exciting.
yeah. I just I wasn't even planning on doing it, and then like what happened in Melbourne, I was like, fuck, I'm not letting that slide. Because I was running the other way. I was running to the other corner
Yeah,
flag.
you started. I know.
I
Everyone.
was
That's what
running, yeah,
everyone was sending it to me. I got a couple of. I got one. Actually, one of my partner's brother's friends plays for Victory, and he said like he sent it to him straight after the game and said he was running that way, and then he came over to the Victory fans. So,
yeah,
I rate it. I don't mind that. I think Cassini Yengi. I think that was the first goal he ever scored against Victory as well. Was straight over to the
yeah,
fans and copped a bit of
They
abuse.
did
I don't mind that.
big
yeah.
Conor
No, it's
McGregor walk over there.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's good to
Um,
watch. It's good to see. Yeah.
exactly right. If I could do 10 backflips, I'd probably be doing the same. I can't even score a goal though.
Hey, where's
From
your two?
nah, it's fixed, brother. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got these, mate. I'm back. I wouldn't be on this podcast if I didn't have a fix too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Um, next question at Zane. Why is your jersey number 66?
Ooh. Steph, do you even know why it is?
No, I don't know.
I don't know myself. Can't lie.
Yeah, why did you have 66? Was it 66 in the youth team maybe,
Yeah,
and then
66
you
in the
just
youth
stuck
team,
with
and
it?
then yeah, they gave it to me on my debut game. in Melbourne. I had COVID, and then I travelled, and then my number was just there.
Will you keep
And you
that?
never asked to change it?
No, well, I did. After Mo left, I wanted 17. Just to,
It's a good
not
number,
because I wanted
brother.
it,
Very good number.
not because I wanted it, just to rep Mo, yeah. Just to, yeah, follow his footsteps, yeah.
Well, I think you've created your own footsteps now. Maybe the 66 will be retired when you leave. No one will be allowed to wear
Nah, impossible. No chance.
it. All right, we'll go a couple more because we know you're a busy man. From at Riyadi, who is the hardest opponent you've ever faced?
Hardest opponent I've faced. Hardest opponent in the A-League.
Yeah.
There's been no hard ones for him.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Chapman.
Chap. Nah, probably. Well, in training, I can say Harvey because he's aggressive. Can I say my own
Yeah.
teammates?
Yeah, you can say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Harvey doesn't let you take your first touch. Oh my. He shuts you down straight away. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
is. I
he is.
think well, I remember I was speaking to Javi, and when he was at Espanyol, there was like a 3 or 4 year period where someone sent him the stats, and he was actually number 2 or something for the most tackles ever done in all of the top leagues. So he's obviously a very good one-on-one defender. But yeah, it's good to know that you don't find anyone too challenging, and hopefully for the last 4 games, no one can stop you. So we keep on going on our charge to the finals. What do you reckon? The last question, because we know that people are trying to get in touch with you. Maybe some more media trying to get some interviews, but we got the exclusive. At Blake Sawley, what do you think will be your biggest challenge overseas?
Biggest challenge. Oh well. I don't think intensity wise. I don't think I'm weak. Do you think I'm weak?
Definitely not. Definitely not weak. But you don't do gym, but you're somehow not weak.
I do gym, Steph, bro. Stop lying. Such a liar, bro. Probably the technical
What
skills.
about
Well, I'm not.
living? What about living away from home? Like, do you think that'll be hard being away from your family and friends, new language? Are you excited?
No, I'm not. Oh, well, I feel normal to be fair, but it'll be a huge difference. Obviously, being away from my siblings and my parents, but obviously, I'm willing to take on the challenge. So we'll see how I go.
You were saying, I remember I was speaking to you on the pitch when we played a couple of weeks back. You were saying that I think, are you going to go over with your agent and your dad at the beginning?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would be coming over. Yeah, at first,
Yeah.
just for like a week, maybe 2, and then piss off.
Let you get to
sounds
work,
good.
huh?
And what's the plans? What have Bayern said to you for this first initial period when you come with them? What's going to happen, or you're kind of just waiting to see when you fly over there what's going to actually happen with you?
Nah, no, I've got the plans and everything. They've spoken to my agents a couple times, and my agents have forwarded on the message to me. So no, I reckon it'll be good. It'll be good. What they said, but you never know. It's football. You never know what can happen. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, Steph, do you have anything else to ask him?
No, nothing else. Just make sure you're not late tomorrow. Yeah, training at Cooper's.
8:45.
8:45 arrival. And I said it in the interview I had the other day. They were asking me questions about you, and I said Nestor's contributed a lot of money to our end of season trip.
Nah, you
So our
should.
Mad Monday
Why would you say
is
that?
paid for by Nestor.
Nah, they came telling me about
Even,
it.
even Ben's gonna come. Ben's gonna come for it.
Well, I think I probably paid more this season than I did last season.
Yeah,
I think I
I
paid.
think so.
I
I
paid for
think
our
that.
team dinner last year. I think.
Yeah, that's because this year, you're off to Germany at the end of the season, so you think, fuck, if I'm late a couple of days, it doesn't matter too much.
No, I'm just being nice. Just being nice to the old boys.
We're gonna be
Well,
we're gonna be drinking the top shelf stuff, the most expensive thing that's in there.
Nah, chill out. I'm not that rich.
Nah, it's we appreciate you jumping on. We know you're busy.
Thank you.
We'll let you get back to it. Thanks very much, brother.
No worries.
and I
Anyways,
wish you, brother, I wish you all the best going over there. I wish you the best for the last few games and all
thank
the
you.
best in Germany. I'm looking forward to following you and make sure you go and smash it, all right?
Cheers, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Football Friends with Ben and Steph is proudly brought to you by the Inner Game Journals, started by none other than our co-host Stephen Moore. The Athlete Performance Journals were created to help athletes of all abilities become more self-aware through goal setting and reflection. On or off the field, the mental side of the game is so crucial to help you feel and perform at your best. Head over to www.theinnergamejournals.com and use code FOOTBALLFRIENDS to get 15% off all products. If you're a club, school or academy, you're in luck. Stefan also runs workshops and he's just released the app version, which will allow you to give direct feedback to players. Download the app for free today. Search The Inner Game on the App Store.
And another one in the books, Nestory Irankunda, the starboy. It was good of him to join us. Steph, I think you need to give him a little bit of media training because I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot more interviews in his career.
Yeah, he's. I think people can see from that, and I think we create a very comfortable environment. So probably if he's with Channel 10 or Channel 7 or Paramount, it's a little bit different, but maybe not as well. But I also do think the rawness of how he is in front of the camera, that's exactly how he is when he plays. And that's probably what makes him him. So it was good to get a bit of an insight into his childhood and how he kind of broke through. Didn't play football properly until he was 8 at a club team. Was a centre back because he idolised PK and Puyol. You know what? I still think if he was a centre back, he could probably play at a good level because you're not getting. I know he's probably not winning. You know what? He'll still win a lot of headers because that guy can jump.
Yeah.
But
To be fair,
he's definitely more suited to the wing.
Yeah. Well, if you can strike a ball like that, and shooting's probably one of the hardest things in the game. It is probably the hardest thing in the game. If you can strike a ball like that, you need to be near the goal because goals win games and you can't buy that. It doesn't matter sometimes how much you practice. They bought it, but you can't buy his technique, that's for sure. No one can buy that off him. That's his to keep. So
Yeah.
look, I really hope he goes over there and does well. For me, I think he can be, I think he can go down as one of the best Australian players ever. I just really hope that it works out for him over there. I hope Bayern have got a good plan in place for him because, as you can see, just from having him here on the podcast, how raw he still is. He's only 18 years old, and I think people forget about that. He's been on the scene now for a couple of years, and that's testament to his talent and how good he is of a footballer. But I think people have put a lot of pressure on him. People have put a lot of touts on him, just like I have right now. But I genuinely believe that he can go all the way. So I hope that he does fulfill his potential.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, it's up to him. It's a tough world. We saw Bayern Munich this morning playing against my boys Arsenal, and you see the quality of their players. And Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry, these players are they're just as quick, they're just as strong as him. Technically, they're just as good, but mentally, they're so switched on. And that's something that to be able to go over there for him to learn off players like that is invaluable, and it really is up to him. And like you said, I hope he does grab that potential because he's talent-wise, we didn't see Harry Kewell when he was so young, obviously, and he was doing it in the Premier League at a young age. So it's a bit different. But what Nestor can do is something you can't teach players that. You can't teach players to have that power, to be able to dribble like that, strike the ball like that. That's the player that, yes, he's worked very hard. And, I know he used to go down and play with his mates and five-a-sides at the State Centre and do all these things to improve his technique, of course. But, you know, some players are born with something special inside of them, and he's one of those. So we're very grateful that he joined us on the podcast. We hope everybody enjoyed listening to him and kind of can understand him a bit more. And most of all, just get behind him and support him because he needs the love, because he's going to go through tough moments in his career like he did this season. But as a country, you know, we need to be supporting him because he's a big prospect. So hopefully he can be the next one to perform at a World Cup for the Socceroos or whatever he chooses to do. I'm really excited to watch him on the world stage.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But we'll go into the round 24 preview. We've got Wellington versus Melbourne Victory on Friday night. Adelaide, your boys versus Macarthur. Another huge game for you guys. Saturday, we move on. 3:30, Western United versus Central Coast. Back at Tarneit for the second time. Brisbane Roar versus the Jets. Sydney versus Western Sydney Wanderers in the Sydney Derby. And then on Sunday, we go to Melbourne City versus Perth. So all to play for a lot of the teams there. And you're going to be in Melbourne next week. So we're going to be doing our first in-person podcast of the season, which sounds a bit crazy when you put it like that. But we're going to be in Melbourne. So we're getting a studio. Looking forward to seeing you. And what are we doing? I think we have to go double or quits for the forfeit.
Yeah, well, I think your beard's still on. I wanted the hair. You said no to the hair. So if you're happy to shave the head and the beard, if you lose, I'm happy to shave my beard or even shave my head, to be honest. I don't want to because it's not looking great right now. I haven't had time to get a haircut. But if that's what's on the table, that's what's on the table.
Are we saying like skinhead? Like skin? Or
Not-
like a 2 or a 3 all over?
Not like Pep Guardiola. But
No. I'll look
it
like
has-
Pep Guardiola if I
it
shave
can
my
be,
head.
you know, you can go like a faded on the side into a 3 or something, or a 2 or whatever you want. But the people called it out. They want to see it. We need sponsors for next season, so we need to be getting the clicks and the views up. So let's give them what they want.
All right. Well, I hope the shaver shop is listening, or someone of the sort, whoa, whatever it is, Braun, because there's going to be some shaving going on. We'll have to see next week. It might actually happen next week on the podcast in the studio, so we'll
Yeah.
have to wait and
That
see
could be
what
good.
happens. We'll see how the results from the weekend pan out first. But thank you very much, guys, for listening once again. It was a bit of a quicker episode, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. You guys know where to find us. We're at Football Friends Pod on Insta and TikTok, at Ben and Steph Pod on X, and Football Friends with Ben and Steph on YouTube.
Thanks, guys.
Fuck you lot, where's the beer?